is love.
Today, it's all about love.
So love is an expression of emotion. Love, it is said, you can make your walk. Nope. Love is said to make you walk miles and barefoot in the rain just to see that one person that you love.
As soon as you said that, you know what I thought of?
What?
But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more. Yeah, that's an awesome song. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Da da
So-
da da dun 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 da da da. Yeah, that was an awesome song. Sorry. Okay, but
Had to finish it.
So-
Would you walk 1,000 miles? I would. What is it called?
well, I didn't walk, but I flew like about 4,000 miles.
There you go.
Yeah,
What
I
is
went.
that kilometers?
Geez, that's like the other side of the world. That's like
1.8.
8,000 something. Yeah.
8,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't walk that for somebody I loved. Maybe my kids.
I said I flew. I didn't say I
Oh, right.
walked. Yeah, that's good.
He flew
Yeah.
over the ocean. Well, you can't walk through the ocean, so that's your excuse.
That's
there
it.
you go.
That's just it.
So it takes many forms, the word love, but typically it describes an affection that is deep and emotional.
Yes, I think that it's deep and emotional, but I also think that it's something that is inherent in all things, right?
Yeah.
Like I think love is almost like a part of what the universe is made of, sort of thing.
Okay.
You know, like it's like what binds the chemicals and molecules together of the universe. Like that's what love is all about. And so when you experience love,
Yeah.
right, and when you have the expression of love, it's that expression of connecting, right? So think about like when I said like love is what binds the various like molecules of the universe together.
Yeah.
So when we do things that express love in that way, it's like we're binding each
binding.
other together, and we're we're creating more unity essentially,
Yeah.
right?
I agree with that. Do you think love is blind?
Well, I guess when you say love is blind, I think about the way that I guess you have puppy love, right? Like it's sort of the like when you're young and you're like so like filled with all the like crazy adrenaline chemical stuff that's happening through your like all the hormones that are raging through you, and you just kind of have this like young puppy love sort of thing where there's just like there's nothing that the other person could ever do wrong sort of thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Right. So
Like the honeymoon phase and like junior high relationship.
yes, exactly. And so when you say can love be blinding, that experience, I think a lot of people they interpret that as that's what love is, and they focus on that.
Yeah.
And like they just think that like only time that you're ever gonna have love is like when it's that.
Yeah.
I think that's just it's a form of blinding love,
Yeah.
but it's more like lust. It's not really love, you know? Like you haven't actually really connected
Yeah.
in a way that love does.
Right.
You know, it's
Do you
almost
feel like
like
you need to be do you think you need to be an adult to be able to connect that way?
I don't think you have to be an adult, but I think that younger people, because they're changing so much and still kind of discovering themselves, that it's really difficult to have that bind. Because just think about think about it almost like, you know, a person is a certain way and
Yeah.
then the other person is a certain way. And for a time, they can connect.
Yeah.
But then as they grow, one of them might start to change in a different way.
Right.
Right? And
Yeah.
then suddenly that connection isn't happening anymore.
Yeah.
And then that's where they start to drift apart.
Yeah.
But then sometimes there's that lust and that keeps them together, and then it's not really love anymore.
Or what else keeps people together? Like routine, like you're used to them.
Yeah.
So why bother change it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people just get comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Right?
When I think love is blind, I think more like, can you fall in love with somebody that you've never seen before? Like that's how I think of love is blind.
Can you fall in love with somebody you've never seen
And I
before?
also think that there's like two different, I mean, I'm sure there's different types of love, but like the two that stick in my head are like your kids and your family.
Sure.
Like that's, you love them, but then your partner. So like a husband or a wife.
Right.
Do you think one loves stronger than the other?
You mean,
Like loving your kids versus loving your partner?
I would have to say that loving Yeah, is one stronger than the other? I guess you would. That's a good one. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's like a different kind of love.
I think when
Because-
I think when it comes to priorities, from a good like from a maintenance perspective,
Yeah.
I guess you could call it, it's better to put the priority on your husband or wife
Okay.
than to be on your kids, because what happens in a lot of relationships is that they will focus so much on the kids
Yeah.
that they lose each other.
They lose each other.
Right.
That happens quite a bit.
So if you're going to have to focus on one or the other, if you're going to answer your question,
Mm-hmm.
is one, what did you say, is one better than the other, or one's
Stronger.
stronger than the other?
Stronger, yeah.
So if you flexed on making it stronger with your kids,
Yeah.
you're really going to weaken your relationship, and then that destabilizes the whole environment for your kids
Happy
included.
wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life. Yes. yes. Yeah, I can't count. I've lost count how many times I've said that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, I feel like it's a different kind of love. Just because like with your partner, you do things with your partner, like certain things that you obviously aren't going to do with your kids.
Right.
And I guess it's all about the way you show it. Right? Like, I don't know. Love's a tough one. Is loving something or someone an easy thing to do? For me, I think it is.
Yeah, it all depends on how strong your building brick is
Yeah.
in love, right? If you're someone who's a very loving person and
Yeah.
just like does all these things all the time, then yeah, it's going to come really naturally. For some people though, depending on how they were, it's largely to do with their environment.
Yeah.
I think that they will come across as like having challenges with showing love. I mean, you hear about it all the time, like,
Yeah.
people not able to express their emotions and all this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? So I think that it all
Men.
depends on where you at. Hey, it's not men. There's plenty. Hey, you could say women, because I can think of like tons of times where like women didn't really tell me what they were thinking or feeling, and then men just don't even know what's
Right?
going on, right? So
Yeah.
it's just like, it's not fair.
Well, you guys should learn how to read women better.
Right. We're mind readers.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Yeah, for me, I think loving is definitely easy. I'm the type of person that will be on the phone, whether it's my best friend, a friend, best friend, grandmother, mom, kid, and every time before I hang up, I always say, "Love you."
Right.
Like that's just something. That's how I end the conversation with my sister, like friends, anything. It's always "Love you." Okay, bye. Love you. Love you too. One or the other.
Yeah, I don't do that. I rarely say I love you at all.
So do you? Oh, good. This is another good question. Do you think that the word, like, do you think that can be overused?
It can. Yeah.
And then it's not going to be as meaningful.
Yeah, it can. And this goes back to this book that was written a while ago. I think it's like 10 years old and that's something now. It's called The 5 Love Languages.
Yeah.
And probably people listening to this have heard of that book before.
Yeah.
But the 5 love languages
Tongue
talks
twister.
about basically everybody has their own language for how they communicate love.
Right.
Right. So some people communicate it with audio. I love you, right? They say
Okay.
things like that.
Okay.
Or some people are
Actions.
are more like actions. So the things they're doing are the ways that they're communicating their love. And then some people are more like visual. They need to see things, right?
Okay.
So it's all like, these different kinds and if you can be able to focus in on whomever you're with and be able to understand what their love language is, then you can adjust your language to be able to make it so that they can actually hear and feel
Yeah.
the love that you're trying to express, right?
Right.
So I think that a lot of people that get together tend to like automatically do that. Like if their love languages are the same, they get together and then they're able to like really communicate that well.
Yeah.
But then those that don't,
So
they're
you
just
said
like,
there's 5 different love languages?
that's what the book says. I don't know.
Okay.
Who knows if there's more? Like to me, there's probably like 100, and we're trying to simple it down to 5 because
Can loving something come naturally or does it have to be built? Do you have to work on love or does it come naturally?
I would say that love is something that you should work on. Yeah,
But I think it comes naturally too.
it could, but I think for a lot of people,
I think maybe it comes naturally at first, but then you have to work for it.
what does that mean?
I don't know.
What do you mean it's naturally,
Like
then you have to work
the
for it?
honeymoon phase, you're all like, oh, lovey-dovey-dovey. And then after that, it's like, okay, the phase is kind of going away, so now you actually got to work for that love. Like, not work for it, but like, what's I'm trying to say? You got to keep it building up.
Oh, so you got to start putting more effort into
Yes,
keeping it
'cause it's
going
not
and
just
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like the honeymoon phase is gone and
So then it means that it's something that has to be built then.
yeah,
It's not necessarily something that's natural,
true.
right? So
Yeah.
it takes effort.
Yeah.
It's something that you're just, I mean, it takes decision. And a lot of people say it takes commitment, right? So I think that it's something that's absolutely something you have to build. And it's not just something that happens with just a partner, which is what we naturally start to talk
It
about.
is true, yeah.
It's something that you have to do with everybody, right? It's how you show love to everyone, right? And for a lot of people, it starts with building,
yeah.
but then it's just like when we talk about building new habits and
Yeah.
building new behaviors,
Yeah.
right? So when we start by building to want to have a more loving life,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then we start to do things like, you know, doing service to others, like we talked about before, and
Yeah.
and doing all kinds of things for other people. Then that becomes the way we express our love. Then as long as we keep that consistent, that becomes a behavior. Now it's just natural. Now it's
Right.
just something that we just do automatically, right? So just like a performance athlete, right? There's like they get to the point where they're so good at what they do because they just practice,
Right.
right? Same thing with love. You know, you got to build it.
You got to build that love.
Yeah.
That brick.
Yeah.
Building brick.
Building brick of love.
Building brick of love. Do you think love makes the world better or worse? Like, do you think the more love make the world better, or if people weren't very loving, would the world be crappy?
So I'm trying to think of.
Okay, world right now. Just trying.
So I'm just thinking about what does love help make the world.
Go round. Does it make the world?
No, the question says, does love help the world, or does love make it worse?
Yeah.
Misguided love. Like, if you look at probably some of the world's worst people, like Hitler and whatever, they probably loved what they were preaching. Doesn't mean it's right.
Right. We see that all the time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so does love help it worse, or does it make it worse? I'd say the truth is that even if you have somebody who is misguided, who's loving what they're doing,
Yep.
I still think it makes the world a better place. I think it helps the world more than it hurts it.
Because in the end, you're happy. And if you're, not you per se, but in the end, if you're loving what you're doing, even if it's not something good, you're probably going to be happier at the end of the day. So you're probably that's going to rub off on other people that you see. So then really, I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see this going to dark places already. So
Let's end it there.
let's end it there. But the truth is that I think that there's way more good than there is bad in the world.
Yes.
I'm going to say that right there. So there's way more good. So the more,
Do you think
think what?
there is more good than bad in the world?
100%.
Yeah.
Otherwise everything would be far worse than where it is now.
Yeah, true.
Right? So
Yeah. Thank God for loving people.
there you go.
Do you think love is always an innocent thing? So, for an example, somebody loves me, but they're stalking me, and I don't love them.
Right.
So, do you think that's innocent of that person, even though they're a stalker?
What does stalking have to do with love?
Yeah, like if I'm a stalker because I love this person, but I'm following them around, I'm actually hurting probably their ego, their feelings, I'm making them nervous to live. So
Yeah.
it's not an innocent thing. My love towards the person I'm stalking, I don't think is innocent.
No, it's not innocent.
Unless I'm like an innocent stalker.
Yeah, but is that love or is that obsession?
That's probably obsession, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
Yeah, it's
Good
not.
point.
It's not really love at that point. It's
No.
almost like in the, not love, but having a crush
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? So
Obsession is the
obsession,
perfect word.
yeah, obsession is something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that love really helps to be able. Love is like the beginning of the process, I think, right? And then we have to work on it. So if we can, so I would say that love is innocent in the sense that it doesn't see good or bad,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's
True.
you know, it's all a matter of how it's applied,
Yeah.
right? Sort of like, you know, you can take a hammer and you can use it to build a house, or you can use it to kill somebody. So
Freaky.
so like love in a similar sense, I would say it's just is innocent.
It
right?
is innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you put it that way, I think I agree. Because, yeah, I was thinking like the whole stalker, but like that's not love. That is, what'd you call it again?
Obsession.
Obsession.
Yes.
Freaky.
On a scale from 1 to 10,
Yeah.
1 being absolutely do not need it or want it, cannot have it. 10 being must absolutely need to have. Where do you think love fits on that spectrum? 1 to 10.
10.
10, absolutely must have.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not for me. That's for love, right?
For love, yeah.
Yeah. I think people need to have love. Probably make them happier. Is that
Okay.
what you mean?
Yeah. Well, I want to
Yeah.
know, like, just
What do you think?
in the spectrum of things, I mean, like, how important do you think that love is in terms of that building brick in your life?
Well, you're talking about how it binds the world together, so it's got to be a 10.
Yeah, you would just like fall apart if you didn't
Yeah,
have love. Even
exactly.
your body's made of love. So
Yeah, no, I give it a 10. Do you give it a 10?
I would give it a 10.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, I just had to think back to like you saying about the bindingness, and I'm like, it'd have to be.
There you have it.
There you have it, folks. All right, so let's wrap this up. Stay tuned for the how-tos of love.
Yes, that's gonna be fun.
Yes. Bye. See you next time.
Ta ta for now.